Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. In this video I have a fun tutorial for you on how to make a Halloween Hidden Waterfall album. I have two options, option 1, option 2. I made this one and decided on the inside with the flaps to add some gussets. So this one has some gussets and a bit wider spine. So the tutorial covers both of those, just the decorating on the first one though, and the option of how to change for the second one. So this is both made with the Halloween paper collection 2023 from Carta that I received in my design team package from Country Craft Creations. It's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me. Stay tuned for the tutorial. Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. It's that time of the year. Time to get crafty with our Halloween goodies. This is my design team package that I recently received from Country Craft Creations. I'm going to be making a fun little Halloween album for you and a tutorial on it. So this is what I'll be using. This is the Carta Halloween collection. So I have like 2 of each pattern paper and 2 of the solids, or 1 of each solid that comes with the collection. I have the enamel dots. I have the ephemera and the frames and tags, 1 in each here. And then I also have the chipboard pieces that I've already punched out. So you can order all this at Country Craft Creations. I'll be using the black artisan cardstock here. I think you're going to need probably about 9 sheets of this, and then you're going to need 1 of the 12 by 12 heavyweight chipboard for your album cover. Of course, you want your adhesive, your score sheet. You need at least 1, and your art glitter glue is what I like to use. You use your one that you prefer. I'm going to throw in something here. This is a die that I got from Country Craft Creations last year. It's not available any longer, so technically it's from my stash, but I did get it from them. And you may remember you saw Sally make a little album with this. Of course, Sally doesn't do tutorials. She shares and gives us ideas and inspiration. So I'm inspired to add this to the cover. Now, mine's not going to be anything like hers, but I wanted to put a little house on the cover. So if you have this die, or you have some little house die, you might want to grab that. Otherwise, you can just decorate it with your Halloween bits and things. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel by clicking down below or on the little tiny heart. Well, probably right about there, little pink heart. You can click on that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click the bell when you do, so you'll receive notification when all my videos are uploaded. And be sure to check out countrycraftcreations.com if you haven't already gotten a Halloween collection that you like. Check them out. All right, let's get started on the tutorial coming up next. To make the cover, you're going to need to cut 1 piece of 12 by 12 heavyweight chipboard for the front and back cover and for the spine. So you need 2 pieces that are 5 inches by 7.5. 5 inches by 7.5. 1 piece that is 1.5 by 7.5. So that's for the album cover. To wrap this in the lay flat method, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. This is the Artisan Black because I'm using Halloween papers, and I just naturally use black for Halloween album. You're going to need to cut 2 pieces that are 7 by 9.5, and 1 piece for the spine that is 5 by 9.5. Okay. And then for the inside support piece, you're going to need 1 piece that is 6 by 7.5 and a piece of score tape sheet. This is an 8.5 by 11. I cut down to 6 by 7.5. You want it solid score tape to keep your inside spine section from bubbling, or you can use score tape strips, but you do have to put them down solid. Now I'm going to refer you up here in the corner to my video on how to make the lay flat album. You use the same method, or you can go follow Tammy's of Country Craft Creations. She was the creator of this method. So most of us do it basically the same. I'm a little bit different on mitering my corners. But it's, whatever method you like to use, but I'm doing the lay flat method to make the cover. I'm not going to repeat that in this video. So you'll need to go to that link that I gave you just a few seconds ago up in the top, also down in the bottom. I'll put it in the description, along with these measurements for the cut list down below in the description. Click on more or show more to see the cut list. So go ahead, stop the video, make your cover, go to the other video if you need that to show you step by step, and then I'll be back with mine. Real quick, while I was assembling my album, I noticed I gave you the wrong measurements for the spine piece. So I'll correct it on screen. Of course, your cut list will be correct, but for the wrapping, you need two. There was 7 by 9.5, and then for the spine, you need just one that's 4.5 by 9.5. I cut it to 5, so I just trimmed off a 1/2 inch. So just wanted to pop in and correct that real quick with you while I was working on mine. Okay, so I have my 5 by 7.5 album cover finished, all put together. You'll see here it's unfinished. Now normally I leave it like that and covered with patterned paper, but this time I want to put cardstock down to kind of give it a smooth area here, because I'm going to be building up on that. So I have gone from the scraps, cut 2 pieces that are a 1/16 under 5 inches by a 1/16 under 7.5, because I want them to fit exactly, but I don't want them going over the edge. So a 1/16 is that first little tiny short mark on your trimmer just below the 5 and just below the 7.5. So if you can't figure that out easily, then lay your scrap down and maybe put little tick marks so that you know where to cut on the 4 corners. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these on really quick and finish the inside of my album here, my album cover, and then we'll be ready to start cutting the cardstock, or I will cut the cardstock, give you the measurements, and then we'll do the scoring on camera of the different flaps and things so that we'll be all ready to start in with our patterned paper. Okay, so let's put this one down. Make sure it doesn't go over any of the folds or the edges, but really close to the edge as we can. Down here at the bottom and at the top. So you have your glue. You've got a little bit of wiggle room to kind of slide things around. So that just finishes up nicely. So we'll be ready to build up with our patterned paper. Let's do the other side. Okay, burnish that down. Wipe off any glue that oozes out of your edges. Okay, and now we are ready to start cutting for our flaps and waterfalls, for our hidden waterfalls inside our little album. I have my cardstock cut for my flaps for the hidden waterfall and the waterfalls and the waterfall base. So I'll go over that with you, show you how to do the scoring on it. The measurements, the cut list is down below. You can check it down below. I can't make it. Down below in description, where you can copy and paste it and print it out. So I will go over it with you, but you can print that for to use as you're working on this. So you're going to need 3 sheets of the 12 by 12 artisan cardstock. I'm using black because it's Halloween. And the first thing we're going to cut is 4 5 by 4 1/4 flaps. You need 4 of these. So I've got 4 here, and we are going to score them. Score on the 4 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch. So these are going to be the flaps on the top and the bottom of the inside and out of the front and back of the album. So cut 4 5 by 4 1/4, score your 4 1/4 inch side, put that at the top, and score at a 1/2 inch on all 4 pieces to make your flaps. This is super, super easy to make, and it's going to be so cute in the Halloween Carta Halloween paper collection. So score these, get them done, and once I score, I like to go ahead, fold on that bump, and give it a good burnish to get these ready. Set them aside here, and then I will put my little sticky note back on them so I don't forget what they are. Okay, so that's very helpful. Sometimes I write on the cardstock, but if I have sticky notes, I like to use that. Next, we need little side closure flaps. So these are the little flaps that go over these flaps, and you're going to want 4, and you're going to cut 4 that are 2 inches by 3 inches. I've got those, and we're going to score the 2-inch side, because these go on the sides, the 2-inch side on all of them at a 1/2 inch. So on all 4, put your 2-inch at the top, score at a 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch. Okay, so then go ahead, fold on the bump again, and burnish to get all these ready to go. And again, I'm going to add my sticky note to them so I'll know what I got. Okay. Next, we're going to make little belly bands, and you need 4 of those. You need 4 pieces that you have cut to 1 inch by 4 inch. 1 inch by 4 inch. You're going to put the 4 inch at the top, and we're going to score at 3 1/2 and at 1/2. So that's going to give us 1/2 inch tabs attachment on both ends. So go ahead and do that on all 4, scoring the 4-inch side at a 1/2 inch and at 3 1/2. 1/2 inch, 3 1/2, and again 1/2 inch at 3 1/2. Fold and burnish on the bump. Bumpy side goes down. Burnish that. And this is what's going to be used to hold all the flaps closed. We're going to use a little photo mat or cut apart from the collection for that. Let me do our decorating. So there's our belly bands. Okay, next we're going to cut waterfall bases, and we need 2 out of the cardstock, 2 waterfall bases. I've already done 1 and assembled it. So we need to cut 2 that are 4 by 6 1/2. There's no scoring on your waterfall base. I'm going to just set that aside right here. For our flaps, we need 10 that are 4 by 5. 10 that are 4 by 5. I've already done 5 of them and assembled this waterfall here to double check to make sure that I'd had the correct number. But you're going to take all of your 4 by 5s. You're going to put the 5-inch in at the top, right there, and score at a 1/2 inch on all 10. So I'm doing 5 right now. I've already done the first 5. Score at the 5-inch at the top. Score at a 1/2 inch. Okay. Whoops, messed that one up, but I think it'll be okay. Jump the track. I'm going to kind of erase that with my bone folder. Artisan is really forgiving. It can let you do that, and it's going to be covered by pattern paper. Anyway, so now it just looks like a scratch. Okay, 5" at the top, 1/2 inch score. Okay, so we're done with the scoreboard. Let's go ahead and fold and burnish these. I'm folding in on the bump side. Just seems to fold better that way to me. Sometimes I forget to tell you that's what I'm doing, but I'm trying to do better with that. So we need to move this out of the way. We don't need it now. Don't need our scoring tool right now. Let's assemble our waterfall piece first. So we have this. This is your 4 by 6, and these are now with the score line folded down. And if you have any nubbins from scoring, it could be the humidity here. I just kind of sand that off. It's not really cracking or anything on that Artisan, but that one is. Yeah, that one's cracking. I'm going to recut this one. Sorry about that. It's so hot here. I'm positive that the air conditioner running is having an effect on my cardstock right now, kind of like it does in the winter. It's really dry right now. So these are okay. So let me take care of this one really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I recut a new one from my scrap of paper and didn't score quite as aggressively, and so that one's fine now. Okay, so if you will lay this down, you will notice these are 4 inches wide by now 4.5 long. So this fold needs to go along the top edge of this 4 by 6 piece. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. And on the back side, there's your front where it's folded under. Here's the hinge or the attachment flap. Put your glue on that 1/2 inch section on the back side here. Take your waterfall piece, turn it whichever way you want. Now, if it's easier for you with it in the scoreboard, using that, that's fine. I just like to lay it here and make sure it's lining up, and then wipe off any glue with my cloth and burnish on the inside. So now I know that it's even on both sides and along the top. I'm going to flip this open, take my next one, and always make sure they are burnished really well. Put glue on the next one, and the fold is going to butt up to the cut bottom edge of the one already in. And again, I'm going to line it up here on the sides. Make sure everybody's going in the way they're supposed to. Burnish that down. Okay, flip it up. So we have 2 in, 3 more to go. All right, glue. Add your glue. Again, folded edge, butt it up to that cut edge of the one just put down. Line up your sides. Now the fourth one. Line it up. And burnish. So I have an extra here. Let's see what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have a 5th one. Okay, so you can put the 5th one in. I don't know how. This piece is cut shorter. It's supposed to have been 6.5. 4 by 6.5. I had 2. Well, that's a goof up. Okay, I'm going to still use it. I'm going to line this one up down here, and I will make my pattern paper a cover up and count for this last 1/2 inch. I don't know what I did. 4 by 6.5 is what it's supposed to have been, and I cut one at 4 by 6. You know what? The heat here in Texas is getting to my brain for sure. Super hot, much too hot. I'll be glad when it's fall. We get a little bit of cool weather. I don't want cold winter. I just want some fall weather. Okay, so on my incorrectly cut back, I now have 5 waterfalls. And I was going to say on this one that has the 6.5, once you get your final one on, if this base is a little bit too long, just trim it off to fit. So it should be the same size underneath. So it still works. I've just got it shorter here on the back side, but I'll take that into account when I do my pattern paper. So it's all good. Had it wrote down right. I cut it wrong. So we'll keep on with this. We'll get things starting to go into the book. So let's grab our book for now. And we do put in our flap. We have 4 of these. So now they are 5 by 3 3/4. And they should fit right in here within the book, the front and back sections. So if you want to miter just a tiny bit on these 1/2 inch, you can, just to be on the safe side so they're not sticking out too much. I'm working on the left one first. I need 2 of them. I'm just barely cutting any at all. Make sure they're burnished really good. Take one, and this goes to the top. So I'm going to put the glue on my attachment flap. Turn this so I can see it, and I'm going to attach it, making sure I'm coming to the edge here on the outer edge and along the top edge so that we've got clearance there for our hinge. And then we're going to wipe off any excess glue in here and burnish this down. Okay, so it comes across like that. Then this one comes on here, and it has a little space in there, and that's what we want. So put your glue again on your 1/2 inch attachment flap. Turn this so I can see it. I'll put it this way. Turn it on its side on this side and line it up toward this edge right along that bottom. She's got to put the same little gap here in the center. This one needs moved up just a tiny bit. Okay, burnish that down. See how that looks. Okay, so there's that flap there. Now, your little side flaps, 2 by 3 originally, are now 1.5 by 3. They're going to go right in here, centered. Okay, I'm going to put the glue on the one. Inside here. Put it right so that it fits up against those flaps, and it's going to make sure it's on the inside here. And I'm eyeballing it. I'm happy with that. I'm going to burnish that. Now then, I want to make sure the other one matches though. Okay, so we grab another one. And I did not matter these. I don't think that's necessary on these. Okay. I'm going to take a ruler here. I got me a new ruler. I've been wanting a metal ruler, and they came in today, and I got this really pretty pink one. I got two because I lose them. Okay, pink, and I got a green. When you order them, you only get random choices of colors. So I was kind of excited with the colors that I got. So I'm going to lay this here so that it's straight, right like that. Okay, put the glue on my flap, attachment flap. And I'm going to make sure I'm staying straight. Kind of go in underneath these little flaps here. Lift it up, lay it down. Okay. Make sure they're right along the edge. Let me open it up. Okay, right there. Burnish that. Don't want them extending too far. But I want to make sure they close over this. So I'm going to have to leave them out just a little bit. Okay, got to make sure that it's fitting right along that. Good thing about glue, it lets you move. Okay, so that's like that. And then this is where the little belly bands will come into play to hold this down. I don't know, I may have made four. I think I only need two on each side. So we made extras. No, we didn't. We made it right. Okay, two on each side. Hello. Okay, so these are going to go right here. Now, if you want to wait till you have your, well, they actually need to go under our patterned paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put them down. So glue on your attachment flap. You've got a really short one on each one here. And I'm going to center these on the little flaps. It's going to have about 1/4 of an inch on each side. And again, I'm eyeballing. If you're not good at that, then work with a ruler, to get that alignment that you want. So this is going to be the same way. You're like, what in the world? How is this going to work? Well, like I said, we're going to have a photo mat that slips into these and holds everything down. So we'll make those later when I'm decorating, probably. Or I may do it after I get everything assembled here. We'll see. Okay, so that's like that. So like we will have something that fits inside. It's going to have to be cut to fit though. Going to go in there and it'll slide all the way across and hold it down. Just like that. And then our waterfall goes in here. Like this, and like this. Ta-da! So this cannot go in until I add my patterned paper. So I'm going to take my temporary easy runner grand that you can get at Country Craft Creations, and it says dots repositionable. That means I can pull it up, and I have a heck of a time taking the cap off. There we go. So I can just put some here and here and a little in the middle to make sure it stays. But this is going to go right here in the center. After we get our fun Halloween paper in there, this will go up and down and over, and it will be held closed with a slide-in photo mat type thing, and we'll make that in a bit. So this one is made exactly like this one. I'm going to do this one off camera. I'm going to put your two top and bottom flaps on, your side flaps, then your little belly bands, and then you're going to temporarily attach your waterfall in, and the book is assembled and ready for the pattern paper. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I have my second hidden waterfall ready to add in once I have my pattern paper. So I have the waterfall here. I have my top flap, my bottom flap, my side flaps with the belly band. Okay, what I did was, let's see here, 2, 3, 4. That's okay. I went ahead and cut 4 mats that are 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 because these will fit right in here as photo mats, and then I may add another cardstock color or white. I am not sure about the size yet, so don't cut these yet, but they would go in like here and glue down, one here at the top, one at the bottom. So come fold down. So that gives extra photo places. And then to hold this down, I did cut 2 of these. These measure 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. So they will hold that down like that. Now, I will say that I should have thought about it and maybe put a 1/4 inch gusset here. So if that here and here, if that is something you think you might want a little extra room in this hidden compartment here, I will write that down as an optional cutting guide. Simple to do. You would just cut this a 1/4 inch wider, and you would have another score line here so that you would have a flap, your 1/2 inch attachment, 1/4 inch space, and then the same size flap to give you that extra little 1/4 inch in there. So I didn't do that. I didn't do a prototype. I'm just doing this straight as I'm designing it for you, and I did forget that. That might be an important feature to have. So these mats go in here. Possibly I may resize these. So that lays in there like that. And we're ready to start adding patterned paper. So that's our little Halloween album. You decide. I haven't decided yet. I may put a ribbon tie closure. If you do, you put that on before the patterned paper. So yeah, this is coming along really nice, and we're ready to start cutting some patterned paper and get that into the album. I've been playing with adding patterned papers to my little album. Nothing is attached down yet. I'm going to be doing that off camera. And rather than give you the individual sizes here on the video, in the cut guide that I'm going to put down below in my description that you can copy and paste and print up, I'm going to put the measurements that I used and then the name of the paper that I cut so that you will know which ones I used for what. I'll show you real quick what I have. These are put down with the dot repositionable Easy Runner Grand that you can get from Country Craft Creations. This is really great when you're planning your pages because you may want different patterns than I'm using. So you would cut your sizes and then temporarily stick it down because see, this is not stuck down. I mean, it's temporarily. And you can rub that off if you want to, but I just put my permanent adhesive on there and then add it back on. So what I have chosen here for the front and back covers is all the same. So I did that out of one piece of the patterned paper. And then on the inside here, now this is going to be option 1. This is the one without any gusset. No, I have decided I think I will make another one, and I will also show you it where you do the gusset. So like this flap right here has a 1/4 inch gusset here at the top. That will give us some space for our waterfalls in there. Be a little bit more space. So we'll have 2 options for this album. Option 1 like this where it's all flat in here pretty much, and then the other option 2. So what I have here is I've been playing with this. Is put down permanent because I was playing with it to make it to see if it would work, and it did, and I will definitely show you how to make one. This is a little pop-up slider, so you see it slides, kind of has that little dimension there, but you could actually make it stand up. Isn't that cute? I think kids would like that, and I kind of like playing with it myself. So you can push it all the way down anywhere you want to. You probably could add more than one if you wanted to and have them all down that So that's, that's the little chipboard piece, and I show you how to make this little pop-up thing and make the slider. It's really, really easy. So I kind of mirror everything here um, on the front side and the back side. So this is the hidden waterfalls. So this is the little belly bands. So I use these matching, and I kind of cut them all the way across so that the image kind of continues. So I use the jack-o'-lanterns here with the little stars for the belly band. And then this slider comes out, and I did front and back with the sunflowers. Spooky sunflower, I think that's what it's called. And like that. So that goes there. So this one's the same over here. Then these little flaps pop up. Now I would probably, in option 2, put a gusset on those as well. Then we have these cut aparts. These are the 4x6. Eat, drink, and be scary, and black cats, furry bats, pumpkin spice, and everything nice. I love that. Zombie walking, crows squawking, werewolves howling, monster growling, Halloween. So I matted it to some of the solid cardstock that you can get from Carta for this collection. So this is great. Photo mats will hold 4x6 photos. Okay, pretty sure. Yeah, without cropping, 4x6. It's the exact size there of this. This is the 4x6 on this side. So you would have a little border around there. So that's those. And then on the back side of my little flaps, I use the spider web. So as you see, it looks crooked because it's not tacked down. These flaps, I did the bats, and then when you open it down on the inside, let's see what we can show you. I did the spider webs, then I did black cardstock. Like I said, I will give you the measurements, and then this is the lighter color here. What is this one? Of the Carta cardstock, the cream color. I started to go with white, and then I thought, well, I have this cardstock, and I really like the texture, and there's cream in other images and stuff, so I went with that. So I really like how that looks. So that's where you can put your photos. And then the waterfalls, like I said, I mirrored them. So pattern paper just on the front side of each one, and you can still add photos. So I did the cats, and you flip that up. And then the back side of the sunflowers. And then we have the orange star, the white stars on the orange. And then the sunflowers, because I just think that is so pretty. And then we have the jack-o'-lanterns. And then that's, I have an extra thing. Oh, I need to put something in there. I didn't do that. That's the underside where it's the base attached down. So I'll put something there as well. And then also from scraps, once I'm all done, I will cut little pieces that go in between. And then the back sides will be left black, which are good for photos. So I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down. And then after that, we'll work on making the cover, the house on the cover. And I know some of you are concerned about the die that I'm using. This did come from Country Craft Creations last year. So it's no longer available there. I checked. You can get the little accessory die to it still at Country Craft Creations. Let me show you that real quick. So that's a little accessory. They are so tiny, but I might want to use the shutters. I can see using those. And probably the chimney brick. I think that's what that is, the chimney. So this is still available at Country Craft Creations. This was Creative Expressions, but you may have in your stash, you may already have a house die. It doesn't have to be this one. And see, this isn't a haunted house. I'm going to make it a haunted house, but any house die that you may have, or if you have a Cricut or any of the cutting machines where you can get SVG files, I'm pretty sure you can get you a house cut out. So it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, or you can just simply decorate your cover without having a house on it. But I'm thinking the house is going to be fun. But you have so many elements with this collection that you could use. So do not think that you have to have a haunted house or a little house die to do this project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to be inking my papers this time, and I'm going to use the black soot distress ink. I think that's going to work great with it. So I'm going to get all these glued in, and then I will work on the house, and I will do a separate little video clip in with this, all of this somewhere, showing you how to make this. It's just really easy, guys. And you can make, you know, at different widths. In option 2, I may expand my spine just a little bit to allow clearance, especially when I make a gusset here and here and here and here. Make this a little wider in here so we can still do the pop-up. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to start inking and gluing, and then I'll be back in a bit. I have everything glued in, all the papers glued in. I think it's the temporary holes pretty good, so sometimes you can miss one, but pretty sure I have that in. I added a sticker to the back here that says Spooky Halloween Night. The round, sticker here. I just thought it finished kind of like a logo back there. So this is ready for the little house. So you open it up. I did go ahead and add some stickers when I was gluing things down. So everything's glued down. And I already showed you all the different papers that I used. Oops, this is not glued down. See? I told you. That temporary is so good that sometimes you miss getting things glued down good. So I went to check that. So I'm just going to quickly line this up, and I'll check the other one too. Glue this down on the mat. So there's that one. Just double check everything. Pull this card out. So yeah, that one's on my pieces here. So you can see I've got everything glued down. And I haven't done inside here yet, these little strips, because I'm going to do that with scraps. And then I did add a piece here of pattern paper. I didn't have that cut earlier. So I'm going to add some kind of tab or something here so that you can tell that there's another one hidden underneath. So I need to do that. And over here on this one, let's check this one. So that one's all glued down. Did I do this one? Yeah, got that one. So the same thing here. These are all in. And then under here, I did the bats. So yeah, I'm going to find something to make little pulls. Let's see if I've got anything in some of these smaller pieces that might work. For the little pull tab, I decided to use my 3/4 inch circle punch, punched out from the spider web, the bats, the little smaller bats. There's smaller ones in there, and some of the orange dot in between with the bats. So this is going to glue right here on the bottom edge so that you can see that it's going to be a pull tab. So I've got my glue, refilled my glue, and now it's really oozing out. Here we go. Let's see if we can center that kind of. Make sure it's not sticking out too far. Glue everywhere. And put this other one on the back side to seal that up. Off the glue. Okay, so that is a little pull tab right there. Okay, so that's what it looks like that. So you can tell that your got something there to pull when everything is down. So just lift that up, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. I took 2 of the cut aparts, the 3x4s, and trimmed them down because I want some more of the cats showing on the paper. I matted them to the back side of the cat paper, this kind of a platy black, and glued them at an angle here, and then added 2 stickers, Hocus Pocus and the Boo Crew. So this side says keep out, and this says I put a spell on you when you open the hidden waterfalls like that. So I thought that turned out cute like that. So we're going to just close all this up and then start working on our die cut. Now I will do that off camera over here on my other table where I have my die cutting machine. So there's that side, and I'll get that done, and then I'll show you assembling it. And I am going to use the papers that came with this collection, the solids for my house. Okay, right there. Okay, so there's that. And these stickers, I kind of just did a collage up here with the witch's legs, the Great Pumpkin Adventure, the ghost, Happy Halloween, and just kind of decorated that up with those sunflowers. I think that turned out really cute. And then I was thinking about, where's my dots? Putting some of the dots here and there, but I may put them on the front with the book with the house. So this doesn't come off, but we could put some here and here, kind of look like some stoppers. Let's see let's go ahead and do that. If I'm thinking of it, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I think I'll put, maybe my glue won't be too runny here. Maybe it's calmed down some. I'm going to put one big one in the center. Just a small dot of glue. Okay. These usually have adhesive on them, but I want to make sure they stay. So right there. And I'll clean that up. I always get glue oozing out. It dries clear. It's not going to be a problem, but it just looks better if I clean it up. Okay, there's that one. And another big one right in the center. That kind of looks like it's tacked in. I like that. I think I'm just going to use the big one. Save these others for another spot. I've got this kind of, a little bit of glue right there. Not that much glue, but a little bit. Goodness. Okay. Okay, so got that up. Okay, so now I'm ready to start die cutting. And I think for the inside, this is finished. I mean, like you could add stickers here if you wanted to decorate it some more, because that's not going to cause any problems with any of the closure, like the this cute little trick-or-treat banner. Let's see, maybe on one side like that. Put a little glue on that just to make sure it doesn't peel up. Put that right there. Just kind of decorate that flap. You could also put pictures if you wanted to up there. And then we have some of these I want to save. Trick or treat. Eat, drink, and be scary. We've got that. Of course, that's our card's going to go in there too. So I may just leave that like that. Let's see here. This one goes here for a photo. Where did I do with the other one? Eat, drink, and be scary. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it just like that for now. and the inside's finished, and I like to bring this down to the bottom and then just close it all up. Okay, so I'm going to do some die cutting now. Okay, so I had to do some learning with these dies because I've never used them before. So I'll go over it with you. This particular one, where is that one? Let me grab it. Well, hang on a second. Okay, it was under my house. This particular die does not cut out the shape, okay? So it is supposed to emboss your roof, but it doesn't do a really good job. I couldn't get it to emboss, but it does cut out the door correctly and all the little windows, which is great. So what you do is you die cut this to get your windows and your embossing. But what I found is for my embossing, of course, I'm going to layer it with something else. But anyway, I'll show you what you can do. Is you have to line up this. I didn't cut it out really well, but turn it upside down on your finished part. Line up the windows after you've punched it out. Flip it over so you can see. Then take a bone folder or something and really rub over the roof area to get your embossed tiles. So that's what I had to do. Now with this print that I punched out, you can't really see it because I'm going to do it with black. I punched another one out of black and I did that rubbing and I got it a little better for my roof. And now this black one that I punched, so and after you have cut these center part out, you're not going to have a house shape until you take this smaller outline, put it around it. After you've die cut, got your windows and your stuff die cut, you put this around it and then punch again, go through the die machine, and then you'll have this piece. And then I punched out this one in the lighter color. What did I say that was? I can't remember. From the collection, and I'm going to line it with that to get the windows to look like that. Okay, so you do that, and then this bigger one, because this is a card die, so when you punch this out, this top edge doesn't have a cutting line, so the whole thing will be punched out except for this very top. Then you just take your scissors and cut that out. So I'm going to be layering up like this for my house, and then like this. Okay, so those are those dies, and then like I said, I cut the house one with the windows and everything and the roof out of black artisan, and then I just, after I went over this part, then I cut it out, and I'm going to layer those on, but I am going to use, I think, some silver mousse or something that I have. So I cut out this part of the roof too. And then I wanted the door, so I went over that again with my embossing, with my thing. And I'm going to, I did the door like that so it will show up more. And then I cut out each little window, and they're not perfect because I don't care. This is a haunted house. And then I'm going to be gluing those on. So very tedious little rebuilding, whoops, of my little house. And then I cut out just that strip on the bottom from the black. So I'm going to put that on there too. So we're going to see how that looks. I'm going to start gluing in everything and grab me some stuff to rub on here, maybe to make it show up a little more. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so I've got these pieces glued on, and then from the sticker sheet, I cut out the one sticker that had a door, and I decided to put that on there because I just think it's so cute. It's got Boo on the banner, little door there, kind of go with the rest of the collection. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay this lighter piece here, and I'm going to take a pencil And I'm just going to kind of trace where the windows are, because I want to inlay inside different stickers so that things can be peeking out of the window and the door on the inside when you open it. Okay, so now I have all those kind of sketched out. So I'm going to take this, like the different stickers that have like candles or a bat, like that. Lay that in there just like that. Bit of the spider web. Now down here I glued a piece of the spider web paper there because this ghost sticker right here, I'm going to have him coming out of the door. Just like that. So I need one more thing in the upper window. Okay, so that's that. So this can glue together now. So I'll put glue on the back. I'm not going to worry about putting it right up against the windows. So I'm going to get it lined up here. So there, I have the door peeking open like that. And then I'm going to cut out different little elements, and I have bats and things, and I have this big chipboard ghost that I'm thinking about. You know, I know it's not the right dimension, but that's okay. And then this, where any of this is showing, where I didn't get it on good, let me see. I have a dark Copic marker, and I'm just going to kind of go along the edge here. Make sure that there's no white showing. That looks cute. Okay, this is Halloween. I love Halloween. This is a lot of fun. So different stickers I'm going to use, and then of course this is going to go on right here. I'm just trying to decide, do I want to pop it up some? Probably. Also, I'm going to decide if it doesn't need a tie closure, but I think some different Halloween ribbons tying around it would probably be a lot of fun and really dress it up. So I'm going to look at that, and then I'll be back with that. I've been playing around and thinking about what I want to do, and I temporarily taped this trim from Country Craft Creations that I had in my stash, but that's where it did come from, Country Craft Creations, from another design team project. But anyway, I temporarily taped it on and to see if I liked it, and I did. And I did add this little trick or treat chipboard piece here. And so I like that. I'm going to, here on the door, I don't want to leave it flopping open, but I want it gaping open. So I took 6 little squares of the cardstock, and I'm just going to glue it, oops, inside the door. Made sure it was black so that when you peek in, you can't really see it. It's going to keep it popped open a little bit, keep it ajar, I guess is what you want to say. I'm going to hold that and let that dry. so that the ghost is peeking out to say, hey, who's out there? So I really love all the little scenes in the windows, and I like that loopy lace there. And I thought about lifting the house, but I've decided I want to put it flat down because I probably will add other chipboard elements. Now I've got this chipboard ghost. So if I do him, I would need to lift it some because I do like him. So let me get me some scraps of chipboard. Okay, so I grabbed me a scrap of chipboard, the medium weight, which is about the same thickness of the chipboard pieces, and a scrap of cardstock. And I'm going to wrap it. You can paint the edges if you want to, or you can wrap it like this. This is to keep it from, if you peek in there, you're going to see black. If you have black chipboard, well, that works great. I'm just going to glue this down into this. It's kind of like doing an album cover, but you don't have to be perfectly neat. So I just kind of cut around it with my scissors, and then I'm going to glue this edge down. Oh, I need to miter my corner like that, just like you do for an album cover. And bring this one down. Like I said, it doesn't have to be as neat, of course, because you're not really going to see it. It's just going to be a lift of chipboard underneath my house onto the cover. So bring that in. Just wrap it. And it's really just because I want the edges covered. This is a really good way, and I don't, instead of using foam squares, because sometimes those will dry out. So this is going to be a really nice and permanent, and it doesn't matter which side you glue down onto the back of your house. Just make sure it sticks down good and it's not sticking out. So, okay, just like that. And that leaves space around it so that I can tuck my ghost under or anything else I might want to add. So take the cover. Now then, I decided not on a tie closure because it doesn't really need it, but I want ribbon on the side, like right there. So I'm going to put my house a little towards the left. So now I'm going to put my glue on the back. Put a good amount of glue. I don't want this thing coming off. A bit over. And I'm going to kind of put it right about like this. Just straight as I can. It's going to move a little bit. I'm going to straighten it as I hold it, press it in. Okay, I'm a chipboard ghost. I'm going to cut the end off of him. So I can get him poking in one side or the other like that. I think that side's the one I want it on. So glue on the back of him. Poke him in back here so he's still on the album cover. And he's poking out from behind the house. He's a big ghost. Okay, then I'm going to add this bow here. Which side I like the best. It's going to go right in there. And as always, I just use art glitter glue for whatever I'm adding. Metal, ribbon, fabric, chipboard, art glitter glue is all purpose. I'll just hold it for a second and let it grab. And then I'm going to leave it like that. So I may add something like a button from a stash or something really big. And so it doesn't untie, it just opens up like that. It's just decorative. Okay, so now I'm going to see what else I'm going to add. I have thought about this, but it's too big. So that goes for another project. We have some bats we want to add, maybe a couple of pumpkins. Now I had this lace trim. Don't know. It's pretty. Maybe it could go on the bottom here. I thought it kind of looked like a fence. So I have to decide on that. It's kind of pretty. The color is right. And I think I kind of like it peeking out underneath there. So I'm going to trim off any loose threads here. See which. I'm going to start it. Some more glitter glue on it on the edge. And right about here. Okay. Put some glue on the back of the lace. Just kind of dot it. On the end here. And I'm going to lay this in underneath, kind of push it up under there a little bit. Grab my cloth to kind of press it down so it doesn't stick to me. Make sure it's lined up the way I want it. Okay, I like that. And I wanted to add these chipboard flowers like this. I know they're big, but I like it. This collection, so it goes right on top of the house there. Let that dry. Got some jack-o'-lanterns. That one right there. A little black one here. I thought about putting it down here where that lace is on the end. Cover that up. Find another. Maybe I'll find another pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern. Like that. It's gonna. No, not that one. Okay, got some bats here. And I used the white and black ribbon because I didn't have any orange. This is a different kind of orange. It's a, it just, the oranges I had were all Halloween, bright Halloween oranges, and they didn't work. I had some eyelash stuff here, but I decided I didn't think that would work. See how the oranges are, that one would work pretty good, but other oranges I just didn't like that I had. So this is what I went with. One more little bat here. Put him up here in the roof. I like how it looks. Looking cute. Oh, is it enough? Let me decide. Okay, so it's done. The only thing I added extra was that little piece of this lace. I put it at the top. I decided not to use the dies that made the little shutters or the chimney because I think this is just fine. I'm going to need to put a little more glue on that. But there it is with the ribbon attached. Oh, I haven't found a button for that. So yeah, I want something in there. But I want to show you on the inside, I did add this trim right across the top of these journaling cards because I like to bring into the book a little bit of what's on the outside. Okay, so I like that. So let me pause one more time. I'm going to go see if I can find me a fancy button or something in my stash, and I'll be right back, and this will be finished. And then I will also do option number 2 with the gussets, and I will show you how to make this sliding pop-up element when I do the other album. So I'll be sure to do that for you. So hang on. Okay, so I couldn't find a button that I liked for this, so I went into the chipboard pieces and I used this little candy chipboard piece from the collection in the black and white with a little bit of orange. I like that. Secured my trim here a little bit better. So this album is finished, and so I'll be following up next with option number 2, where I'll show you the adjustments in making the flaps with the gussets and possibly enlarging this spine, and I will also show you how to make the slider, pop-up slider. I will not show decorating or putting pattern paper on that album, but you can look at it, the finished one, and a walkthrough I will share so you can look at that. So stay tuned for option number 2 coming up next. I have everything cut for option 2, my second album that I'm going to make, where I add gussets to some of the flaps. So this is album number 1. This is option 1, where I didn't add gussets here to my flaps on the sides, top, and the bottom to accommodate for needing extra thickness for possibly for photos. I love how this one turned out, and the other one's going to be similar with different pop-ups and elements and the same paper collection, but of course it's going to look a little bit different. So I'm going to set this one aside and go over with you real quick. So everything's going to be the same on the measurements for this album, except for the width of the spine and, of course, the flaps. So you're going to need to cut, I've pre-cut everything. For your chipboard, you need to cut 2 pieces that are 5 by 7.5, and this is different. You need to be 2 by 7.5. I made it a 1/2 inch wider, which makes some of your pieces for the wrapping a little different. You still need 2 that are 7 by 9.5 for the cover, but you need 1 that is 5 by 9.5 for the spine. And your inside support piece, I've already cut, add my adhesive, is a 6.5 by 7.5 and a score tape to match that. So we have that. And I'm not going to be assembling that on camera. I'm only going to show you the parts of it that have been changed. Okay. Now then, the flaps that are different in sizes will be, you'll need 4 that are 5 by 4.5, and you'll need for your side closures 4 that are 3 by 2 1/4. So these are different. Everything else is the same on your cutting guide. Your belly bands, you need 4 that are 1 by 4. And the scoring's still the same, so you'll score these. I'll go over it with you on the scoreboard, but these you will score at the 4-inch side at 1/2 and 3 1/2. So look at the cut list and also the first album to get that everything correct. You will need waterfall base. You'll need just one. Well, actually, you need 2. Sorry, 2 waterfall bases that are 4 by 6 1/2. No scoring. Waterfall flaps, 10 at 4 by 5. Score on your 5-inch side at 1/2 inch. And then you're going to need your photo mats, 4 in the black cardstock, 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got those. And I thought I had cut my other pieces. If I haven't cut them, you're going to need, for the slider part up for your belly band, you need 2. They're 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. I have those cut here somewhere. So anyway, they're probably stuck inside some of this. So all that's going to be the same, but I will show you the scoring on these that are different. I'm going to go ahead and make my cover off camera with the 2-inch spine that is for option number 2. Oh, also for your slider pieces, you're going to need to cut, and I've already cut mine and scored them, but I will show you how to assemble and make them. You need one that's 8 1/2 by 1 inches. I scored it on the 8 1/2 side at 1/2 inch and at 8. And then you're going to need your slider piece. That is, you need one that is 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, and score the 2 1/4 side at 1 and 2. So that's what's going to wrap around like that. Of course, your attachment on the front side, so everything works right like this. And then your pop-up piece, you need one that is 3 1/4 by 3 3/4, and I scored the 3 3/4 side at 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. This will make the box square that will fold down. And then in making this, you're going to need a piece of pattern paper, and I went ahead and cut this, which is 7/8 by 7 3/8 for that. And then there'll be more pattern paper for the rest of it. And I picked out this as my chipboard piece because I think that'll look really cute. So I'll show you how to make that after I get my cover and everything all made and get the flaps and everything in. So I wanted to go over that. This is for option 2, where you add gussets to your flaps and you make a 1/2 inch wider spine. I have the album cover made for my second album here for option 2, and patterned on the inside and the outside, and I put a sticker here so I know this is the back. Remember, if you widen this spine to 2 inches, that your pattern paper is going to be wider in here. So I cut this just under 2 for inside. The front on this one, because I'm using the black stars, I wanted some orange around it to kind of make it pop. So I cut the orange mat from the Carta solids, the 4 7/8 wide by 7 3/8 tall for the front and the back. This one is the 2 inch wide by 7 3/8 tall, and then your pattern paper is 1/8 of an inch smaller to fit in the mat, or whatever width, how much ever orange you want to show if you're double matting. So that's what that did on that, and these are the full regular size that you have in the front. So now I'm going to show you how to make, real quick, the pop-up slider. So you have your piece here. Let me get the scoreboard. That is 8 1/2 by 1, and I scored it at 8 and at 1/2 inch, and then you fold those ends towards each other like that. Okay, then you cut your pattern paper. I'm using this one, Mine is 7/8 of an inch wide by the 7 3/8 tall. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Of course, you can use just whatever scrap you have that you want, or you can make it to match the inside spine paper like I did on the first one. It can be different. It can be the same. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and mat this on. Okay. Wipe off any excess glue. Burnish it down. Okay. All right, so there's that. Then you take your slider piece. This is your little 3/4 inch by 2 1/4, and you score at 1/2 inch and at 2. You place it so that you fold the score lines in toward each other. You place it so that your little 1/4 inch is on the right, and you're just going to put glue on that little 1/4 inch piece there. Just a little bit of glue, and make sure you fit this around your main slider piece and just glue those together. Just that little slider. Make sure you're not gluing it down. You want it to slide like that, up and down. Simple, really easy. Okay. Now then, your pop-up piece is your 3 3/4 by 3/4, and you score at 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. So that gives us 5 sections, and you burnish all your lines, fold them towards each other on the same side. Then you're going to take the last 2 squares. You're going to put glue on the one square like this, overlap the other square, matching it to make you a square box. Now the one that's double thickness is where I put my chipboard piece, which this time I want to use the witch legs. And I'm going to make sure my feet are flush with the bottom here. So I'm going to put glue on this double thickness square here on the front side. Set my chipboard piece centered over that with my feet sticking up. Now they're unfinished here on the back, so I'm probably going to cut some pattern paper and finish my back side here. And of course I finished this square, and this is going to glue right like that. So let me see on my first one. I do add pattern paper to this before I add this one down. So let me grab some scraps and we'll do that. Okay, I have a strip of scraps here, and I just trim it down to under 3/4 of an inch here, and I'm going to glue it on. Cut one here to fit this one. So cover up the slider one with some patterned paper just to kind of finish it off, make it neat, make sure nothing's glued down. Then we take this piece here, and I put my glue mostly just on the center. Don't go all the way to the fold edge because it may overextend. Kind of like that. And you're going to center this onto your slider piece. You don't want it glued off of it. So make sure it's still sliding, kind of centered like that. Whoops. Oh, I put my glue on the wrong side. Sorry, guys. Let's see, I want her popping up like this. So the bottom one, again, just in the center, kind of side to side, like that. That other one I put glue on, I wiped it off, and it'll, so you want to put it so she's legs are standing up. I had it, they were laying down. Okay, center that over that. Okay, so that they're standing up on the piece like that. So I'm going to let that dry. Now then, the rest of your scraps, you can just cut to fit to cover up different sections of your piece. I just do it with my scissors. I don't measure it really. Just get in there and see if I need to trim some off or not. So this piece actually goes over the whole piece on the inside. So I didn't have to really do that other, but that's okay. Just like that, just kind of finish it all off. And then I cut 2 here. Now then, what I did on the jack-o'-lantern, and I probably will on the witch legs, instead of cutting paper, I'm going to take my dark black, dark gray Copic marker, and I will just cover the back of the chipboard. So I'm cutting 2 pieces of pattern paper to finish up my pop-up. Just make sure it's covering the squares and not extending where it will hinder the actual part of it that folds up. So just keep trimming. Okay. And next we're going to put it in the book. Next I'm going to paint my back of my chipboard. I should have done that before I glued it down, but that's okay. So I grab my marker, and just the pieces that are sticking out, I'm just going to add black to them. It really doesn't show that much, but you know, if it bothers you, you probably want to cover that. Now the top of the hat, not hat, it looks like a hat from this side. The top of the legs on the back side. My Copic is trying to dry out on me. I've used it a lot. You can also use a paint or Sharpie marker. There's that. And the other side of her shoes. Okay. So now that's standing up like that. See, it will fold down. Let's grab the album cover. Okay, so this goes right in the center. And of course, you just glue the 1/2 inch tabs here. And then glue that into the spine. Line them up centered here at the bottom and at the top. Super easy. Just wipe off any excess glue that might come out, and then make sure you lift it up so that, or take your bone folder, make sure that it's burnished under there where the flaps are and not glued down. You want it to glue, but you don't want it to glue shut. Make sense? Okay. So there is that. All the way to the top, all the way down. Okay. Now then, this is where I took my little dots. I think I'm going to use the red ones. So I put one in the center, dump of glue, use the big ones, put one on each end. And clean off the glue. Okay, so that's on the inside. It's a little pop-up. It'll come down, and we press it down when we close up the album. And we've got plenty of clearance on each side to accommodate our flaps. So next we're going to work on our flaps. And I should have put my flaps on under my pattern paper, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's all right. We'll fix it. I'll fix it on mine. Add your flaps before your pattern paper. Got ahead of myself. So we'll fix that. I'll fix that, and then just add some decorative paper with them. It's Halloween. It's all good. Okay, so that'll be next. Okay, for your 4 flaps, you cut them 5 by 4.5. But before we put them in the book, I want you to put them in your trimmer and trim off just about a 1/16 of an inch on the edge so that they will fit in between and not overhang. So you want to double check that and make sure. Okay, then you're going to take your 4.5 side and you're going to score it a 1/2 inch on all 4. I've already done this one, a 1/2 inch, and sorry, 3/4 of an inch. Put your 4.5 in at the top, score it a 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. This is giving us that optional 1/4 inch gusset to hold our waterfall better. 1/2 inch and 3/4. Now then you go ahead and you fold and burnish and dry fit it in. If you need to trim off a little more than a 1/16 of an inch on your sides here, do that. You don't want it extending outside of your book section. So we're going to score all these, or I mean fold and burnish. And I am not going to trim them because I'm going to have him to put mine in. I'm going to cover them with a little scrap of paper because I already put my paper in my book. Okay, for the side closure flaps, you cut 4 that are 3 by 2 1/4. I've already done this one. We're going to score the 2 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch and 3/4 on all 4. Put your 2 1/4 in at the top, score at a 1/2 inch and 3 1/4. That's giving us that 1/4 inch gusset, 1/2 inch, make sure it's lined up in there good, 1/2 inch by 3 1/4. Then go ahead and fold and burnish these. Giving them a good burnish there, especially where that 1/2 inch is. And then your little 1/4 inch, you want to be able to stand up good. And again, I'm going to have to put pattern paper on these scraps of paper to fix my boo-boo. I'm going to blame my boo-boos lately because it is so stinking hot here in Texas. We've had over 105 degrees, I think, for a month, it seems like, or more, 6 weeks. I don't know. It's just some days it's 108, 110. It's insane. No rain. It's very hot, very dry. And so, yeah, that's why I'm making mistakes, I'm pretty sure. Even though I'm inside where it's air conditioned. Okay, so let's put this up and then we'll put these in the book. Okay, for your flaps, remember I said dry fit. Make sure they're going to fit within that space there without going over. And I do kind of bring them more towards the outer edge of the book. So flatten this down. Put your glue on the 1/2 inch so that you only see the 1/2 inch part first. I'm going to turn this around so I can see. And I'm going to lay this right in there, right along the fold, up against the edge of the book here. Burnish that. Now you see your little 1/4 inch score line is right there. Once this is in, burnish that in, stand that up, and you have your 1/4 inch. This is why I should have done this before I added my pattern paper, but I got to working on my cover and I just, boom, did it. Okay, so then you take your next one. Same thing, you're going to flatten it down so you just see the 1/2 inch. Got your score line of your 1/4 right there though. And then you're going to line these up same way, glue on the 1/2 inch. Put it along the bottom edge of the album. Make sure it lines up even. Burnish that. And then burnish on the inside. Wipe off your glue if you have any, and stand it up. So now we have those like that. Now the waterfall is going to go in there and it's going to give us a little extra room. So do the other side the same way. Okay, so there we have those. Those are standing up just like that. Okay, so now we're ready for the side pieces, which are these little ones here. We open this up and they're going to go on the sides. And I'll use these as a guide to make sure I'm getting them in the right place that I want them to be. Stand that up. Okay, so we'll get those in next. Okay, so to put these side ones on, we have to make sure they're centered pretty close over these two flaps here. So I'm going to put my first one on, put glue. I'm going to flatten down and just put the glue on the 1/2 inch tab. And I'm going to turn this so I can kind of see a little better. Got these closed. Now I'm going to slip this on. I want to make sure it's lining up even when I flatten it down with my edge of my book here. And I'm just eyeballing it, make sure it's kind of centered pretty good. Get that one, then lift it all up and wipe off this glue because there's going to be some, oops. Yeah, I got it over my flap. So I'll quickly clean that up. So be careful with that. Good thing pattern paper is going over it. So now that we have that like that, we can open this up. So this is going to stand up like that. So open this up and take your ruler so that line it up over here flush. This way we can use the ruler as our placement guide after we get that first one in. So glue on this one. I'm going to line it up just along to the inside of that fold there. I'll leave a little space there. You don't want to get it in that space. Clean all that glue up. Burnish it down and stand it up. Let's make sure everything's going to close up the way it's supposed to. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to open this up again, and I'm going to use this one as my guide for the others. So push this up, make sure it's square here on this end, down here, and take my other ones, flatten them down. Oops. And I'm going to make sure again that I'm to the inside of the fold here. We don't want it in the fold. And we got to make sure it's straight. Stay straight. Okay. Pop off this glue here. Okay, and then the last one, same thing. Flatten it down. Okay, and then you make them stand up so they've got the little 1/4 inch going on. So when this goes like this, everything will fit in like that. So then we have our guide pieces on there, and our waterfall will be inside. So these are the same. These are your little belly band deals, and we score them. These are 4 inches by 1. Score at 1/2 and at 3 1/2 on all of them. And this is what's going to keep everything closed. So go to the front, option 1. Everything from now on is going to be the same. These are just going to glue flat down like that on all 4. Then you will have your piece that slides in. So we have those. And of course we have our waterfall that is done the same. There's nothing changed. So everything else is made the same. So for option 2, the difference is the 2-inch spine here and the 1/4 inch gussets on these flaps. So this is the end of this option 2 tutorial, because I'm not going to go through all of that because it's exactly the same as the first one. I'm going to off camera pattern this one, decorate it, finish it up, have it to show here at the end and of course at the front of the video, and do a showcase separate video on both of those albums. So I'm going to keep working on mine, and then I'll be back to show you the finished album. Okay, so I got them both done. This is option 1. This is the little trick-or-treat haunted house with the ghost, witch in the window, different things, the skeletons and candles. Love how it turned out. This is the one without the gussets on the inside. And then this one here is the option 2 with the wider spine. It is the witch's house. Oh, my cattail. I just ripped my cattail off. I'll have to fix that. Okay. This is the witch's house with the cat with no tail. And it's got the broom and the skeletons and spider webs and a ghost popping out. And this one, I love how it turned out too. We've got the witch legs here on the inside. So this has got the wider spine, like I said, and the gussets, the 1/4 inch gussets on all the flaps, the side and the bottom. So that's the tutorial for these. I do have a separate walkthrough video if you want to see them inside in detail. I had so much fun creating this. I really love this paper collection. This is Halloween by Carta that you can get at countrycraftcreations.com. Make sure you check it out there, and also the other Halloween collections that would work great for this album. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and click that bell. I'll be having another project soon with this Halloween collection by Carta. It's going to be a fun little quick decorative project, and I think you'll enjoy it. So make sure you subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and I'm going to fix my cat. Thanks. Bye-bye.